Hey everyone, this is the College Essay Captain, and I'm going to deliver another 2mm shift in your thinking to make your college admissions essays go from good to outstanding. Today's topic is transforming your stories. I had the unique opportunity to attend Landmark Forum this past weekend, and I want to share something with you that I think will not only help you with your college admissions essays, but will help you with understanding who you are, why you are the way you are, and how you can use this new understanding to positively impact your life. So one of the topics we addressed this past weekend was learning how to separate the event that happened from the story we tell ourselves about that event. Everything in our lives are stories. All the meaning that we give to events are stories. So basically, we're expert storytellers, all of us, because that's all our brains are designed to do. Something happens, we give meaning to it. For example, and this may not be true for all of you, but I think you might be able to identify with this story. Let's think of a student, if it's not you, if it's someone else, who fails an exam in 3rd grade and brings the exam home, and his parents yell at him. So the events that happened in that story, or in the events that happened, are the student failed a test and his parents yelled at him. Now, that student, that child, is going to create meaning from those events. And sometimes that meaning isn't very powerful or empowering. So for that student, if he created the meaning that means that he's a failure and he's not good at school, and his parents don't think he's smart, that's not really an empowering story. But the way he grows up is going to be heavily influenced by that story that he chose to tell himself. Even though he didn't really choose it, his brain said, this needs meaning, this is the meaning I'm giving it. So notice in that scenario, if that student goes through his life thinking that failing a test means that he's not smart, means that he is not good at school, and maybe means that he's a failure, that's going to impact his personality a lot. It's going to impact how he interacts with other people, because he's going to constantly want to avoid feeling that way again. And sometimes behavioral problems will stem from an event like that, when the meaning means I'm a failure or it means I'm not smart. Sometimes that student might grow up and not really try in school because he identifies with not being smart. When in reality, failing a test is an event. It means I failed a test. And that's not what our brain does. So I want you to take a look at your life right now. Think of an event that happened to you, and then try to separate the event from the story that you told yourself about what that means. It's hard to do. And a lot of our stories that keep coming up from childhood or from our teenage years, the ones that really hurt us but we can't seem to let go, the reason why we can't let it go is because we haven't taken responsibility for the story we told ourselves around it. We haven't been able to let it go because we've created so much meaning, and that meaning that we gave it is benefiting us in some way. Let's go back to that example of the student who failed the exam in 3rd grade. If that student made that meaning, I'm not smart, I'm not good at school, something that he might have done is stop trying in school. And that becomes problematic, because that can turn into I don't try in school, or I'm going to act out if someone tries to make me try. And I want you to think, what is the benefit to that student as he grows up to hold on to that story? Doesn't really seem like there would be a benefit, right, to holding on to that you're not smart, that you're a failure, that you're not good at school. That doesn't seem very empowering. But think about it. What is that allowing that student to do? Well, he has an excuse for why he doesn't perform well at school. He maybe gets pity from other people who are trying to maybe help him, and he says, I'm not good at school, I'm always failing. He's able to fall back on that. And though that's not empowering, it is still benefiting him in some way. It's allowing him to hold on to this part of his identity, even though that part of his identity isn't helping him in the long run. It's actually holding him back. So if you're able to separate the event, no matter how tragic or traumatic, from the story you told yourself about it, watch how free you'll be to be more empowering, to tell yourselves better stories. If that student knew this idea and at that time was able to say, I failed a test, so what? I'm not going to let that mean anything for me. I'm going to let that be a fact. I failed a test. His life could have been very different. This is also taking responsibility for the stories that you told yourself, even if it has to do with another person. Someone could do something that is mean to you, that you perceive as mean. You tell yourself the story that they're mean. But take responsibility for that's the story you told yourself about it. Separate that from the person's actions. The person's words could have said, I don't like you. And that's all the words need to say. That's all they need to mean. That person, in this event, in my life, said, I don't like you. The story that you tell yourself about what that person said to you is your responsibility. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow. That's a difficult concept to grasp. But it will help free you up to be the person you want to be more empowered. If you were able to see events as events, rather than assigning them meaning that doesn't help you. And I think this would be a great essay topic for those of you who are really willing to put in the work here. And this would show that you're open-minded, you're able to look at past events in a new, fresh light and with maturity, that you're able to take responsibility for your actions. It would be a really cool essay topic. So the essay topic that I'm talking about here is to take a look at one of the events in your life that you created a whole lot of meaning from, that maybe wasn't empowering for you, or maybe it was, and dissect it, look at it, say this is the event and here's all the meaning I created from it, and see where you're doing this in your life. See what the benefit of holding on to this story has for you, and be open and honest about it, because that's going to change not only if you're writing this for a college admissions essay, but it's going to change the way your life goes, because you're going to be able to see, oh, that's a story I created. If it's not working for me, if it's not something that's benefiting me, I can let that story go and let that moment be a moment and simply be an event. I hope this tip was useful to you, to try to get your brain to think a little bit differently about our human-to-human interactions and the stories that we tell ourselves. And I hope this inspires you to tell more empowering stories to yourself and to other people too. Because if you're someone who has been a bully, your words have not only been an action to other people, but they also have influenced the story that this person tells themselves. So be careful with your words. Be careful with the words that you say to other people and the words that you say to yourself. I hope you check back for more videos. Again, this is the College Essay Captain. Have a great day, everyone.